All right, so if you're new here, welcome. I'm Dynasty or Jeremy or whatever, Jeremiah, whatever name makes you smile. We'll go with that. We'll go with that option. Let's get started. Okay. So, mustache supremacy. What's up, dude? How you doing? All right. Mr. Nusty, the dinusty. How am I going to open these? Let's see here. Okay, that's going to just pop open like that. Just going to go through and click a few of these. Judgment time. Nice. Holy. Okay, there's some good stuff in here. You guys are yeah, this is looking great. All right, let's start with the dentist. So we got Adam or bronze gear. This is looking pretty good, man. This is, I mean, when I look at the detail, sure it's being compressed down a bit. Maybe we can get the other image in here as well. Let's see here. I mean, the chair resolution looks awesome, right? Like the detail in the chair looks really, really good. I can see you're getting all of your elements in place. If you want to start getting a sense of like your scene being complete, just start separating out your elements, thinking about like what the material types are, right? So you can go in and then like if it's a rubber material, just have a basic material that allows you to get like a roughness value, a albedo color, and a if it's metal or not. If you can do a pass on everything so that you don't have the block out feel, you'll start to get a really strong sense of what your final scene is going to look like. And it'll kind of it gets that part that's in your brain, it gets that to not worry about those details. You actually go really far with that, and from there you'll actually realize how little texturing you actually have to do. Sometimes like you're reaching that tail end and you're losing momentum and you're like, man, I just need to, can I just stop? And the reality is sometimes you can just stop and no one's going to notice that one asset's not textured, and so it might benefit you to just start getting some materials on everything, even if it's just a color roughness and if it's metal or not. You had a student today with that issue? Yeah, definitely textile density. I mean, when I look at the chair, detail-wise, this looks quite good. And then I look at the floor, and I feel that there's a difference between the two. There's definitely a difference in the contrast. If you were able to give me a link, bronze, of the albedo only, I would love to see that, because you can see a whole lot with albedo only, or like unlit rather. If you're wondering where that's going to drop, you can DM it to me as well. But I mean, overall, I'm looking at the scene. It looks pretty cool. There's some nice detail going on, where things are at. Positioning of these assets, I think, is dependent on some stuff. Right now, the scene's feeling pretty sterile. Of course, you've got your floating drawer, as you do. Can I send it post stream? Currently having dinner. Oh yeah, man, that's fine. It's just seeing the contrast difference. Like if you look at the ground here, like if you get that richness, holy brush. Hang on here. Can I just like? Oh, please let me just object select here. Will this work? Nice. Man, this thing's disturbing. I'm just gonna do a quick deselect here. I mean, I think that's good enough. I just want to invert it and then add that to the mask here. so we can not darken the whoops, hang on here. Let's invert this. So you can see how dark, when the wood is darker, the fidelity between the two, right, versus like before, it's pretty washed. So definitely look at your scene in like detailed lighting so that you see all of the intensity and frequency of all of your normal maps and how they're all working together. Then look at your unlit view, see how everything is kind of paired together and see if they really like separate. And then you want to make sure that those are pretty unified, right? And I feel like right now there's not much of a story going on. It feels like you're still getting your propping pass in and like working on your assets. I will say that this feels a little strange that they're following the same flow. I think it might even be worth like looking into, man, that compression though. Look at that. It might be worth looking into what trapdoors look like, or like hidden like openings in a floor. Because I think you could benefit from having a little metal element, like a latch, a hidden stash. Yes, Ghost. Because this edge here, followed by like the same direction in the wood line, it feels very odd to me. Like, I don't think they would want it to be that seamed. They'd want it to be as seamless as possible. But overall, presentation's looking pretty cool. I don't know what this stuff over here is. That's worth highlighting. Larger boards, yeah. You could try, without worrying about the geometry on the sides here, just try tiling the boards less and see what they look like being bigger. But yeah, overall, it's pretty cool. There's also, pay attention to the saturation of the wood from the furniture versus the wood and the leather. Like, just the saturation values of everything. This cloth detail here is super nice. And, I mean, it might be worth making your background darker. Because you can see the gradient. You're getting this banding. I don't know. Maybe it's worth, let's see. Let me just grab that. Whatever. Let's just grab this and paste it. And then I'm going to paste it again and just scale it in the background. This is like one of my favorite kind of sneaky tricks. Because see, now you get all this information in the background, right? And just blur it. And remember to make it a smart object. Convert to a smart object. That way you can just blur and do like a Gaussian blur. And just like, you can have all the information back there, right? And this is all going into the darkness. And I don't know if that's just a gradient I'm not grabbing. Because I think there's some more interesting shapes to be had there. If we just, let's do this. Let's just eyeball it really fast here. Right? Because now you can play with the silhouette of the cloth. And I'll just fake that I know what's happening in here because it's really dark. About. So you can do that, and now you've got a much more, I would say, a more intriguing space to what's going on here. And then you can take this, of course, and do your drop shadow to it. Make sure to really blur that though, so it's not taking up too much. You just want it to be a little grounded in the. So this is more of a presentation and whatnot. And I don't know if you need. I don't know what that is, you know? This stuff here. I'm just gonna, again, eyeballing. No. Because I think presentation-wise, you're gonna get much more out of doing it like this versus having just the blue gradient background, because you see the gradients get really like compressed, and it might be how you uploaded the video or the image to me. Yeah, the way it falls off the edge, I would totally like bank on that type of detail. I think right now the fidelity of the edge of that cloth, like you could even go in and like, if we do this, so we can, you could go in and really like tatter up the cloth itself, right? Like that's really interesting details that you can pull on. That type of stuff was really interesting. What Din is doing. Tobias, what's up, man? How you doing? Anywho, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, you could do that with an opacity mask really easily. And if you want control over it, just put a vertex painting so you can paint vertex paint where that happens. Okay. Next up is this holy resolution Batman. Hoovy, what's up, man? Thanks for the resub. Look at this. Look at this. We need a bigger canvas. How you doing, Hoovy? Okay, so this is pretty cool. The quality, the fidelity you're getting. There's some interesting noise going on here. That's cool. Look at this. Look at this. This is nice. Let me see. Let me make sure there's no comments on like anything. Still struggling a bit with the final colors, but it's pretty much, but I'd pretty much call it done. What do you think of the color combinations and lighting? So colors, I actually like the colors quite a bit. Don't forget that you can utilize, since there's water down here, I'm going to imagine this is not fresh water. This is probably a saltwater base. I'm thinking ramen broths now. Saltwater base. What the hell? Holy smokes, Batman. Anywho, remember, if this is like this water bit here, you can change the way the rock looks from the base and gradient up towards the sky, right? So like down here, the saturation, the value of the rocks can be deeper. You can have like a salt line, or like a what is the term for that? Essentially the salt buildup where the water line is. Not necessarily limestone, but gotta add noodles to the river. Noted. I think where stuff is falling apart a little bit is when you get in close like this. You see there's that this is all quite simple in the way that it's modeled. And it could be just a matter of like trying to establish how things are being held up a little clearer. Your sky is also very, very bright. I know that it's shaded here, like hang on here. You've got the lighting coming in from this way. Hang on. What are we doing? Give me some colors. Some Empire. So you got your lights coming in this direction, right? At least yeah, it looks like it's even higher up. It would benefit you to get a little bit of lighting on some of these areas, and then don't forget that like you can be using that directional lighting. Like even though this area is in shadow, I would look at what you can do to boost certain areas. So if let's turn this up a bit. So if let's say something like that, you can see how much, like, of course it's freaking crazy now back there, but this is much more interesting, right? Because you can see more of what's happening. This line also follows the shading of the rock a lot, so it actually ends up looking like a seam. Yeah, getting some variation in the rotation of the boards could help. It's just very, it looks block out, right? Or like a miniature. But now that I've blasted the levels on this, let's put a mask on here and invert this. And then really look at, let's turn this off too. let's really look at the overall composition of this shot. I like that you've got these like wires coming across here. That's really cool. And let me just make sure we're getting it all. Come on, man. So picky. So picky with this stuff. Okay. Oop. Let's invert this. Oh, we're inverting the wrong thing. Hang on here. There we go. So now you've lost your what is it? Your the separation you're getting with the shading, right? But this is where like some really good stuff can start happening. I'm gonna take this. We're gonna group this, and then I'll put a mask on this one, and then with this one we'll actually fill the mask. Is this the way I want to think about it? Let me think here. Yeah, okay, cool. And then we can go in here and paint and bring the light back. Cool. Okay. So you want to look at these areas and see if you can bring in, this is really strong right now, of course, but bringing in these elements and kind of starting to pull these details back out can be really powerful, right? Because if you go in and you're like, let's go broad stroke here for a little bit, you get these elements coming in, and you get some like little highlights on the windows, these little cut-ins. You start to see these details, and you can even gradient in from the rock itself. Let's do like that. So you have that type of information happening. Now you start to get these shapes popping in, right? And that really helps with the readability and understanding what we're looking at. Where's my F5 here? Shape dynamics. I need to get rid of that so we can just, yeah, there we go. I'm a very linear person when it comes to this whole brush strokes type of thing, because a lot of the times it's just very harsh, and I don't want that. But you can see like the power of separating out these elements and just bringing in the lightness. The other thing to think about too is the light's coming from above. So even if you're not getting direct light, right? If you're not getting direct sunlight, you're still getting the ambience of the sky kind of coming in. So it's kind of like a giant box light, right? And that's gonna do this type of stuff as well. And sure, if it's a little crazy, I know to like control this stuff seems oh whoops, what am I doing here? To control this stuff is really difficult when it's in 3D. I understand that, but you know what I mean, and it shows so much more of the information and what you're building. And don't forget, gradients are your friend. So it doesn't have to be everything, right? See, maybe this starts to go into more shadow as it's coming through. Maybe we'll lower this opacity. But getting these details a pop is really important, I think. It's a little too soft down here, but I think you get the idea. What is happening here? There we go. Yeah, we're okay. But you see that difference? Like it's just, and it doesn't even have to be like, you can go in and lower this, right? So you just want to get that information. And of course, like this brightness, maybe we even go brighter there. Let me see. Man, I kind of like doing this stuff. You can go even brighter, just in a few spots, just to help imply it. And you can see like this side here is getting a lot of bounce lighting from whatever is happening on the left side that we can't really see. So this is already much brighter than what's happening in front here. So like if we go in and I'm just gonna actually, let's just draw it. We'll just go really fast and just we'll just scribble it out. And then I'll go back down here and we'll just do something like that. And even this element, like maybe you can take that and start to use it for more framing. Hang on here. What did I do? All right. Let's just, what? Oh, I'm so confused. Oh, I see. I see what I did there. Let's go and invert this real quick and delete. All right, and then we'll go back here. Is it okay now? Yeah, cool. Nice. So you can use that to kind of darken the sides here, right? It's already kind of dark over here. We can darken this area out a little bit, and then you can really, you're already kind of doing it a little with the highlights on this side here. If we bring this forward real quick. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's some misalignment stuff going on here. But yeah, you can pop out a little bit of those details and just highlight some areas and then leave the rest. Anywho, getting those to just pop much more intriguing, I think, and it's just kind of like really pushing what you already have to the front. Maybe this is a little too strong on the side here. I'm going to lower the opacity of that. But I think you get the idea. Really cool scene. Looking forward to it being done. And I think the only other thing I would say is like really what's the subject here? If it's that statue, you got to pop that, you know? You got to turn it up a bit. Can I do that? Can I turn it up a bit? What's happening here? Oh, right. I'm masking it. What am I? There we go. You know, get those highlights in there. Oh man, this needs to be way softer. And when you can get that screaming at you, that's going to look delicious. Trying to see what else we can. I mean, maybe we just blast it on the. Man, I'm getting distracted by this piece. Highlights. Right? You get that contrast in there, and oh man. Whoa, too strong. Get it played up a bit more. I think I'm bringing in too many blues when I do that, but anywho, you get the point. This scene's really cool looking. It just needs those little extra details. This wire also may be a little bit too much cutting into the frame, but yo, it's looking cool, man. It looks like it's almost done. All right, Ghost. What is up, man? This looks pretty cool. Look at all that. All the layering. Oh, that's really nice with the roughness there. Yeah, you make that angel have like gold elements on it or metal elements, you're going to be getting some serious pop from that. So these are pretty cool. I actually like the jelly bean one the most. Ooh, this one's cool too, just because of the different shapes. Um, with this one, I would really push your, like where I think even in, I mean, all of these, I think where it's breaking down is in the roughness. I think this one's probably the most accurate, mainly because everything should have the same type of coating, and then the little shape that's. I mean, you're not selling this, are you, Ghost? Oh my God, no. Um, but looking at the roughness, I think that is everything when it comes to this stuff. And really trying to figure out what the surface of these materials looks like. Like when I look at this one, there doesn't seem to be realistic lighting to help really like make the surfaces pop. So keep that in mind. Um, height map looks all right. It's a little. I know it's blurry, so that way you're not getting any crazy stretching. Normals look fine. Albedo looks all right. It is definitely that roughness. That is where things are faltering. And yeah, subtlety in breakup of the roughness values, even though they're the same, give them like a 0.1 difference between all of them. So just randomizing in that really really small range, that alone will do wonders for the surface representation of this. Like how long have they been in the shelves? You know, how long until like someone actually got a hold of these? Because they're usually pretty chalky looking as well. Maybe a little shiny, but pretty chalky. It's pretty cool though, and it's interesting to see Houdini in here. Simulated in a Houdini and finished in Substance Designer. Oh, I was wondering how you were going about not getting too much clipping. There's still clipping going on, but I think if it's simulated in Houdini, there shouldn't be any clipping at all, right? Because they should all have physics to them, like a physical space they're taking up. Yeah, I think you could really benefit from like finding a someone who's either created. All right, Calder, have a good one. That's really odd. I think Twitch has been having some issues lately, but I think you could really benefit from maybe contextualizing these, like they're saying in chat, is maybe putting it in a bowl or like having it like a Halloween bowl, you know, or like having it in a candy machine or something like that. Pretty cool though. Yeah, this one breaks really quickly because you're just asking so much of the displacement, you know, and they end up looking like little balloons. But the roughness is pretty accurate. It looks like you figured out how it works, and now it's like, how do you bring it? You know, how do you bring those materials to the surface? Pretty sick though. All right, Martin. This is a product I've been working on for a while now. I've been watching this, man. I'm excited. Let me copy this. Nope, it's really high res. There we go. Okay. So this is, dude, I'm loving the look, the feel. I I think that water droplet is really strange to me. It just doesn't feel right. I see what you're trying to do. Wait, it's honey? Of course it's honey. No, I'm not getting the honey vibe from that. I can see why it would be dripping like that though. This is really cool. Let me pull up the I keep forgetting that you're doing this honey set, if you want to call it that. This one here. Yeah, so there's drips coming out of it as well here. I would look at how much honey like drips out and like how it just kind of builds up, cuz it would definitely be like it'd be more than this, right? Right now that's gray as well, so doesn't really it doesn't help us like visualizing the, but getting that really kind of gooey look to it. Multiple drips that are just kind of hanging there, you know, and then I mean get some honey down here too. It'd be super messy. Um, it'd be kind of gunked up a bit, if you want to call it that. But yeah, this feels super good. This the attention to detail and how that works and how the edges are kind of reading together, like all this stuff, really really nice. This is a bit simple. It could probably use a similar like edge treatment where you're just kind of like breaking it up a little bit. How is this all held together? It's not in the concept at all, but it's like there needs to be like bolts or something that's connecting everything, right? The material surface is pretty cool on this. In the concept, there's a pretty clear separation, and I know you're going for. It looks like you're going for a bit more of a realistic approach right now. Like poly count wise, it looks pretty low. I would just round that. It looks like it's rounded here though. Maybe it's just an illusion. Because then you can lip this over here and then go this way, right? And you can add like another lip and another one here. And you can actually have like a different material going on there. Like I know it's all made from the same thing. Was it Firupu? How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. This type of detail, right? There's a lot of information going on here that's fighting with these like horizontal lines. And if you can get those out of there, you can really let these patterns kind of be on their own and just fill them with a different roughness value. You have the opportunity to actually show another material type in here, whether it be like a glaze or like, you know, a metal or whatnot. Really, I really like this element. Maybe an element like that here and here, or smaller, you know, just like a tiny little something just to help us understand how they're connected. I love the unevenness of this. Get that honey color. I think that's going to be important. And that green element that's in the middle here. Like if I just screenshot this. This is kind of the reference that's being pulled from. There's definitely some like pattern differences here, right? And getting those material differences in here is going to be really nice. Detail on the inside here looks really good. These look really good. Don't be shy to add geo. Whenever you see that hard edge, just bevel it once more. Or like, you know, do something to try and fix the silhouette when it comes to those things. And yeah, the unevenness you have going on up here with the wood pieces, I really like. Oh, we're not seeing any of the doodles. Yeah, this type of nope. Hang on here. Yeah, it kind of is a little better. I like how uneven these are. I think that unevenness that's happening here is on a macro level, right? If you think about it like a macro change, what you need is micro change as well. Have this spot end higher or lower than the other one, right? So you get maybe from here to here isn't so straight. Maybe it tapers in, and then it chips up this way and then goes back up, right? So you get those kind of those little extra like freebie details. And you can see how straight it is here as well. Like you can curve it out a little bit, even if it's a little stylized in that sense, because it adds so much more to the silhouette. Let me see if I can just like... I see chromatic aberration in here. Do you see it though? Like what I'm talking about? That'll help a whole lot with those types of details. Let's see what else we got going on here. It's the same with like up here. It's very mechanical right now in the way the shapes are kind of, you know, like you can tell, oh yeah, this is 3D because it's all here. It's all in this spot. Whereas in the concept, right, you're seeing a lot of this kind of like dips and going up and then down and then around. If you can get those, if you can get that in here, showing more of the top sides of the wood pieces as well, and just maybe like more of the bowl here. There's some heat going on in there, and being able to give it some room to let that breathe is going to be super nice. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah. These feel a little thin detail-wise versus the rest of the information that you've modeled so far. It's like maybe thickening these up a little bit is going to help. I think that one in the back here, that one's pretty good on thickness, this one here. And it's like then you get these really thin ones. Watch out for those. They look a little spindly, whereas like in here it looks like, man, I don't even know what's going on there. Is that the honey like melting down? It must be. It's like dripping through there. And maybe these are bars instead then. I don't know. But interpreting that, I think, is up to you. It's honey, I think. I think it is as well. I think so. Because it's like all the fire's down here, right? This is all just heated. Oh, you're saying this is all honey. Oh, yeah, this is not, that's not reading like that at all. I think if you want that look, you should definitely start connecting shapes so it looks a little bit more sticky and like gooey between the elements. I think that'll help a lot with like really making it feel like a gooey goodness. We recording this? We're always recording. This will be on Discord VODs or in the Twitch VODs, of course. And then yeah, this will go on the on YouTube and be posted in the Discord also. But yeah, other things to think about. It's not thought about in the concept, it looks like, but down here, how these connect. Don't forget about this. Don't forget about this area. Make sure to explain that somehow. Even if it's like you can do things like welding, which maybe doesn't fit the style. You can do a different size cap piece for like how it connects. So it looks like it's just connected. Don't call me honey on the tubes. But yeah, don't forget about that that area. Overall pretty cool though. This doesn't really feel like metal. I'm just realizing that. Like this feels like metal with some interesting scratches there. But this feels more like stone to me. Maybe it's just the style you're going for. But overall, yes, still great work. It looks really cool. I'm just being critical. Really cool stuff. And like the overall, when you look at it like this, man, super cool. The FOV is serious business too. All right, let's see what else is going on here. All right, Jean or Jean, hi. I've been working on this environment for quite some time. I would like to receive some feedback. The first image is just its current state. The second one has some X marking areas and props that I've not finished. Would like to hear your thoughts on general look, storytelling, lighting. Right, let's check this out. Oh, I remember this. Okay. I remember this scene. Let's grab a few of the images. Yeah, I remember this scene. So, let's get into the vibe. So I think you're marking the ceiling because you're like, this hasn't had a pass yet, right? And then you're also thinking about, like, I guess you want to redo the curtains. There's something here that I don't know what that is. It looks like a canister, like an oxygen canister. So even when you haven't had a pass on stuff, like I was saying earlier, getting like the right kind of roughness information on it and color is going to help immensely. Readability wise, it's quite a dark scene. Like if we go in and just grab this one and just do a levels on it, you can see how much of your histogram you're kind of missing out on. There's not a lot of info in there. Turning this up, because sunlight coming into a dark room is pretty bright. You could do that, and I think you'd be in a pretty good. Let me do this real quick here. Just gonna same process. I'm just gonna turn this up a bit. Like, of course, this is probably too bright. You can check that by if we add a background color and just like fill it with this green. Let's double click the layer here, and you'll just grab this layer, not the underlying layer, but this layer. You can see where it's black. So these are pixels that are near black, where there's essentially no information happening. If you do the other side, you can see where you're getting a blowout in whites. So the white value blowout from my levels has crushed that down. And I mean, I guess it's important to see, like, if I undo all of this, and then let's make that again. Make that green layer, and then let's make this a smart object. And then let's do a levels on it. Sure. So we got a levels in here. And then let's go in here. Let's clip the... Oh, sorry. Hang on here. We're going to do the levels like I was doing before. Get the range. Then we'll double click the layer and clip those high points. Hide this layer so you can see the green. Now you can go back to your levels with it being a smart object and just tone those values down until you're seeing more of the range, right? And it's okay for some clipping to happen, but it's something to watch out for, right? So this just tells me that the light outside is quite bright, and it's not allowing you to properly expose the rest of your scene. So when you now don't let this clip like that, let's just zero this out, right? And then we let's dupe this layer. There we go. And do our levels again. You can see the levels stack as well when it's a smart material, so you can think about it almost like history. And then we'll go in and put a mask on top, invert that mask, and then just kind of play with the lighting a little bit, because it is like the focus is like where the baby's supposed to be, right? And all this crazy like paranormal stuff happening. For sure, I would still brighten up most of the scene, just because it's so dark. There's even light coming in from here, so like this could pump up a little bit. And you can see like you can see the difference. You're just going to end up seeing more of your scene. And when it comes to like what you're seeing on the walls and stuff, because you're saying like the ceiling hasn't had a pass, you've got these pipes, the curtains and stuff, the intention's there. Should I play with post-processing and exposure? I think get everything textured, make sure it looks all right in your unlit view. Make sure all your roughness for everything is pretty in tune, and then start playing with like get your lighting pass in there. And then you can start toying around with the exposure a bit and whatnot. But you think the door should be darker. Interesting. I mean, if you see here, once the value went up, the door separated itself from the wall. And that's the thing I think that you needed to have, is like seeing the door separate from the wall piece. But like, for example, if we go in and if I dupe these and we just do Control Shift U, you can see value wise they are pretty different from each other. If I hide all of these, do the same thing, and Control Shift U, they're still pretty separate from each other, but because it's so dark, the colors are like bringing them together. Trolley wheels seem thick. Oh man, I didn't even look down here. You mean these ones? I've seen these pretty big. I've seen these ones pretty large. But again, it's kind of like that detail that you're looking for, right? See, like now you can really see them, whereas before you couldn't. I'd say maybe it's a little reflective. Yeah, seeing the writing on this board could be nice. I wonder if you could do like a, where is it? O. O, and like just pump up the. Oh god. Oh geez. Yeah, it could be nice to pump up that stuff. Let me see if the midtones help a little bit. Just to get some more of the text on there. And it gets that kind of chalkiness to the board a bit. Because this is also part of the story, right? Feeling that type of information out. I know you said you hadn't taken a pass on the ceiling. It'll be really important once you do get there, is to be looking at the transition for these. Oh, come on, man. Every time. Just leave my brush alone, Photoshop. I like it with the settings I set it at. You have these lines, right? And it's really about identifying how to break that line. So it's going to be a combination of like maybe some drips and details like that. Even the pipes, like where the pipes are at, there's going to be a little bit of a build up from the pipes that's affecting the wall. I don't know if in your reference the paint line is this high. It might be worth checking if you can lower it, because that'll make your scene right now with the wall line being there. It makes the scene feel shorter. Whereas if you add that detail in there, you can make the room look taller as well. There's also a whole lot of propping going on the table, and you're just not getting to enjoy any of that. I don't know how much of that detail you're going to get in here. And the floor doesn't seem to be popping too much when it comes to the detail. Like if you've got a lot of dust buildup, you can think about the dust separated from the tiles being kind of reflective. So you can really like play with like where dust's at and where it isn't. Let me see what else. Make sure I'm getting your. You didn't think about the wall paint line, and usually checkerboards are not that tiled. Oh, for the ground? Interesting. Sir Yellow Gouda. Dude, Gouda, man. For portfolio, is it better to create an environment that consists of good-looking assets but in video games quality, or is it just better to create super high? Make stuff that looks cool, man. Make stuff that you enjoy making and make it look awesome. Video games quality is just like making sure it looks like it could run real time. Amazing approach to creating mesh decal look like dust to have a more smooth transition intersecting between the tile, the roof, and the walls. Oh, Martin, you got to link that. That sounds interesting. But yeah, I was saying, you could use decals for where dust is. Like say dust is going to pile up in this corner, right? Same that I use for like other details where like dust builds up. Maybe it's not going to be that high, right? But you've got dust build up and you've got an edge here. That can be a deferred decal, which all it's doing is affecting the roughness, right? Maybe it's adding an albedo as well, and then you're controlling the opacity of it. You can get some really nice looking differences there, because everything is about roughness when it comes to PBR. Like, the accuracy of your roughness is a make or break for realism. It's arguably the map you should spend the most time on. And yeah, if you can, I would try and get some parity between this information and the lower part of the wall, just as like there's stuff happening here. I guess you would expect it to continue further down, right? I think, anyways. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. It's a lot of stuff dropping in there. Let's see who is next. Hey, no problem, dude. Delaney, heyo, let there be carnage. All right. Let's take a gander. So we don't have a lot to go off in this image, right? Right now, from what I can see, just give me a second here to. What I can see is this is either a whole asset itself, like this wall piece, and then you've got either one or two wall pieces here. With this type of work, it's all about like, okay, you've got this break up here, right? There's some gaps here, which is fine. I think as you get textures in there, it'll look not as strange. But helping this trail off, like, you're gonna need a asset of multiple stones that kind of fulfills this shape. Like, if you were to look at it from a side view, right? Let me think here. So if this is the rock wall, or the stone wall rather, and then you've got maybe another one here, and then you've placed the same one here. So these are all the same asset, right? It usually feels pretty weird to have it end here. So building an asset, this is like thinking in kits, right? This would be a kit where, like, you've got your first asset, your second asset, and your third asset, which is this little one here. And then you can use those and intermix them, right? So like that second piece can now be used here. And then maybe next to that, you can fall off to the third piece. Maybe the third piece drops here and here as well. Maybe the steps look too regular. You can add that third piece here and maybe like here. And that breaks up that the kind of structural patterns that you're starting to see with the way that assets are being placed. Assets are looking pretty good. Watch out for this type of clipping that's happening here on the door. I think given the scenario that you have here, likely it's probably better to like chip the wood up and then create wood pieces that kind of fit into the space like this. And just leave those gaps and let the air pass through, because, you know, it's not an airtight door for sure. And then make sure to, it looks like it's here, but make sure to explain how the wood pieces are kind of held together, right? I don't know what this, like, there you go. Drawing with Dynasty. But from this view, I can't make out much of the information. It looks like there's a building back here, which the material on this spherical shape isn't pushing the shape enough for me to not think that it's just a material on a sphere. There needs to be some other elements so that it looks like it's structurally, you know, like maybe I don't know if there's a chimney in the designs of this. I can't remember off the top of my head, but something that helps kind of describe what we're seeing in the back here. And don't be afraid to add some contrast. The fog here is maybe a little strong. Can you draw eyes and a mouth for the mount there? No. Casey, what's up, man? How you doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, the only thing that's telling me to focus over there is this door. But there's nothing to like support what's happening. The stone bricks look pretty good. Not sure if it would work, but maybe where that yellow light is, remove the wood planks of the door and add a strong. Yeah. Yeah, this directional light is really strange to me. There's a lot of like fog that's kind of messing with the overall image. Are they normally made of 3 pieces of wood? Because I think getting a 4th or a 5th piece of wood in there and like just allowing it to breathe could be pretty nice. You know, just so you're seeing more of the light, right? And give us some structure to the dome so we understand it's a building. It's hard to read right now, is what I'm saying. You're spending I think right now you've spent a lot of time on the understanding and construction of these like very large shapes. And I think figuring out how they mesh together is like the next thing for you. Like this, fixing these lines, because you instantly can start to see how it's constructed, and you wanna hide that as best as possible. And this angle is kind of difficult to read as well. So it's looking pretty cool though. It's been interesting watching it develop. Are you updating the blogs? Because I want to see the blog posts. All right. Is it Miha? Look dev scene for FPS game. I would mainly like to hear your opinion on the composition and general critique. Let's check this out. Make sure I copied it okay. Yeah, cool. I mean, this looks pretty cool. It's kind of hard to read. So okay, so first thing that pops out to me is the grass, or this grassy stuff. It's like color wise, it's really dark by comparison to the ground. There's like no real transition to it. It's very like the alpha in it is just getting crushed down, and there's like some ghosting on the edge of the alpha. I think if you could get those to blend more in with the environment, it would feel much nicer. And the alpha just getting tighter, right? So like you're losing all these connection points because it's mipping down and kind of crushing all that information. The next thing I would say is scale feels a little strange to me. Like I'm not sure. I see some familiar shapes, but the camera's low enough that I can't really tell if I'm standing or if the camera's low, or like. So it's really hard. It's hard to tell the scale of stuff. Like I see some trash bags here. The scale feels funny to me. Like so if we got a window here, the height from the bottom of this window to the ground looks like it's about there. Is that enough for window to floor? And then where's the ceiling stop on the inside? Is it down here? The camera is very near to the ground. Okay. Some other things maybe is like there's some damage that's happening here, right? What's the implied sense of this type of damage? Is this from gunfire and explosions and stuff like that? Gunfire, small arms fire, yes? Okay. So you want to think about those types of details happening in areas where it makes sense, right? So someone comes around this corner, they like peek, they get shot at, you're going to get damage here. Other way around, they get damage here. A lot of the times, damage is going to happen on corners. It's going to happen around doorways and entrances. So getting hits on like the near like a gate, right? Occasionally, you won't get a smattering of it in one spot. You'll get it. Hang on here, I'm like drawing on the picture, so you'll get it. You'll get it localized corners around doors. This is a great opportunity to show it on metal, so you get a different type of decal information from that. And then when you see it in these areas, you're gonna get it like trailing, like they were chasing someone running across the scene or whatever. Cause and effect. Yes, everything needs to have some logic to it. The next thing I'm seeing is this stars dish. I would come up with one other dish and point it another direction just so that you have some variety breakup. Because like right now, if you look at the top of the, hang on here, if you look at the top of the buildings, right, you're getting this, right, and that silhouette is very simple, right, and maybe that's how it is, but look at your references and see if they're like what is on these areas that you're looking at and see what you might be missing. Like maybe there's a shape, right, or some type of antenna type thing. Like there's details that could support like breaking up the silhouette. Maybe there's like a box here. This water tower thing, maybe that needs to be up higher, right? So thinking about that type of detail. Some buildings in the background help. I think with the camera being this low, everything just kind of gets lost. Like if it looks like there are buildings in the background, but you're not going to see them at this low of a camera angle. Some areas could have some sort of a bird coop. Yeah, see, the thing that I'm noticing in this image is that there's not really the focal point, I guess, is the door. But I think if you want to tell a story here, there should be a story. Right now, you're not seeing one. You're just explaining the space in a sense, right? Are these from the area? Are they like that there? Wherever this is at? Some guiding clouds? Yeah, that would be nice. Interesting. Okay. But like, yeah, I think there's also not very big foliage. Like you've got some little smaller stuff here. It could be nice to have something bigger. Like there's a little bit here. Maybe just like, you know, just to kind of break up the space. Yeah, if you want the door to be a focal point, I would make this container a different color. Definitely. Or change the color of the door, right? The other thing that I was seeing a lot of was this. Do you see that? I'm seeing it like all over the road. Here it is again. So it's trying to be careful with iconic shapes or common shapes that you're seeing repeating a lot or patterns. You want to basically break all patterns that you can find and build rules instead. So instead of patterns, you want rules. So you have all this debris in the middle here. It's better to have the debris explain something that happened than just be debris. So something happening like an explosion over here causing a lot of debris in this area allows for you to kind of put the debris over there and tell that story, right? And then the street's relatively open, right? Maybe you get a few pebbles every once in a while, maybe a big one, but it's gonna be pretty open. Yeah, and a clear line of sight to like the area you're going towards. So like if we were to, I wonder if I can do this. No. No. No, I can't. It's all about that matching. Get the saturation down. There we go. Nailed it. But yeah, opening this up, all of a sudden you can see that I'm painting green. F. Yeah, getting that view open is gonna be key, I think. Having these types of details on the edge is gonna be nicer, and then just opening that shot up. 20 years of Photoshop, and this is what you got. Tisk tisk. Adding dust on the trees, less rain equals more dust, dirt accumulation. You can see what I'm doing as well, though, is when I'm drawing all of this green information, is what I'm trying to do is add areas of focus for frequency of detail, and then keeping these areas pretty chilled out, right? I think if you were to, did I just like screw this over? Okay, hang on here. I'm gonna dupe this. Let's just go in and grab this blue object here. Man, can I select that? Can I do an object select, object finder? Come on. I believe in you. That's not the object I want. How about this one? I'll take it. Have you guys played with the object finder yet? So you make this less conspicuous. Oh, it's still, now it's the same. Nailed it. Yeah, some visual narrative. You want to tell a story and tell us why we're looking this way. Definitely. Yeah, object finder is pretty cool. So you know how I was doing, like, you can just mask out and do this. Maybe if I select the right layer. You can select things like this, right? You can toggle on object finder up here, and it analyzes the entire image, and then you can start trying to mouse over things, and it tries to find objects. It looks like it's only finding this one right now, which is kind of funny. Oh, it's finding the tree as well. Interesting. But it tries to separate it out, and when you click it, it becomes a selection. Pretty nice feature. Not too reliable yet, but that's gonna get powerful. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful. Scene's looking pretty cool. Valeria, what's up? How you doing? Let's see here. Ash is working on what looks like some mud, some dried mud. Looks like the first one's a reference. Give me a second here. No, what is this? Terracotta? Terra Seca. This stuff here. Dried. This looks like dried mud to me. Am I going crazy? This gonna work? Oh my god, kinda. Dried mud. Okay. So a lot of the times dried mud, what's happening is, like, if we think about mud here for a second, or yeah, mud. Let's think about mud. So you've got the top layer, right, of your mud, and it's soaked with water, right? It's very wet. And when you go deeper, it becomes more wet, right? Mud is pretty consistently wet all the way through, and then as you go deeper, it starts to disperse and break up. Now, like the water disperses and it becomes less mud-like. But let's say really saturated, right? Now, as it dries, it's going to dry from the top down, right? The surface is going to dry first, usually. There's some very specific scenarios in which it won't, but it's going to dry from the top first, and then as it dries at the top, it will continue to dry and work its way down into drying from the top down. Now, because of that, moisture leaves, right, which will make the material shrink because now there's literally less matter there. Like the water is leaving it, right? So if this chunk here loses moisture, it shrinks, right? So it'll shrink inwards. But down here, like if you continue the sample down, the moisture content will go up as you go down. So if you think about it as far as volume goes, the volume is going to maintain its water density, I guess if you want to call it that, inside of the mud. So I can't believe I'm explaining it like this. So think about this one also shrinking. And so now these are pulling this way, this one's pulling this way. You're going to get a gap here. But that gap isn't going to be even, right? Because you've got this going on, and this one, you got this going on. So what actually happens is this side shrinks this way, this side goes this way, and then the density, the water density, maintains as it goes down. So you're going to get this pulling effect here. This is how you actually get the cracks that you see here. And you can see it a whole lot when you look here, where the reason you're seeing the sides of these is because this top piece here dried first, and then as you go further down, it dries later. Polygon. It dries later as you go down through the surface, right? So because of that, these areas are going to be exposed later, and sure, they'll dry, but it's just everything condenses down. This is why you get this kind of this curve here, this cavity that you're looking at. And that's the thing that right now I feel like you're missing. Right now there's a lot of I wouldn't say procedural, but it's like lacking complexity when it comes to how you're describing the shapes that you're trying to get. Like, the nodes that cause this type of wobble, right? You don't want it to look like a wobble. You want it to look like what we were just describing. You're kind of getting it here, but again, the ambient occlusion is really strong, and that deep area, what I'm seeing when I look at your surface is it's going from here, and then it's doing that. It's going down and then going back up when it needs to be like scooping down and then going, oh Jesus, or not. Scooping down and then scooping back up and then going to another piece. So then you end up seeing these sides. And so it's not deep enough and too dark in the albedo to try and, or in the AO to try and imply those types of details that you're seeing in like references like this. And as it gets more dry, right, it continues to crack, and that happens on a micro level as well. Yeah, and if you're really into like making materials and stuff, I definitely would suggest looking at only the height map and the ambient occlusion, like as like a, well, not even the ambient occlusion, looking at the height map and then just doing like a really simple AO node on there to just so you can read the shapes, and that will you'll gain a whole lot of ground on material creation if you're just looking at your height map. The next thing I would really focus on after your height map is your roughness. Albedo can come last, and albedo will happen real quick. Just tried making hummus with a meat with a meat grinder. What? Oh man. Anyways, hopefully that helped explain some. You'll notice too that these tension points where they dry. So I was talking about like let's grab this side and we're going this way. These sides pull in as well, so they tend to curve. So you'll get a bit of a curve. It won't be too deep, but you'll see a curve where like this side is pointing this way in the normal and this side's pointing this way a little bit. And you see it here as well. When you look, even in the top down view, you can tell that the corners are these edges are lifted just a little bit higher than the core of it, right? Also remember when you're working in like in the flat sense, when you're just creating these shapes, remember that you can tilt these so they can have like their own direction that they're going in. Uh, no, I don't know what you're talking about, Muck. Hey, Martin, have a good one, man. And no problem on the critique. I hope it was helpful. So yeah, that's mud. Let's see what else is going on in here. George, buddy, hey, hope you are well. I'm working on this underwater scene. I put it together using Megascan assets. I am an aspiring lighting artist, so I have been focusing on the colors, composition, as well as trying to get across the Lost City / temple vibe. So this is all underwater. Give me a second here. This is loading in. Copying the image. Man, I'll be honest, man. First glance, I didn't know this was underwater, but I see it now. Okay. So I guess this is like a little area where the rock has basically opened up, or it's open up here, and that's the only light coming in, right? Hey Ash, no problem. Thanks for submitting your stuff. So right now the fish feel a little frantic. They don't really know where they're going. If I'm gonna be honest, the fish kind of look like someone threw a dynamite stick. It went off. They all died from the shock, and they're just kind of slowly making their way up to the surface. They're just kind of pointing in different directions, right? Getting a school of fish. Let me see if I can. Like when you can get directionality in them, that's common. Let me see if this will work. So like this type of information. Yeah, done. Don't don't look at that too closely. But yeah, when you can get directionality like that, you get this action, you get momentum in the image. And you can do that with these fish, right? You just got to paint them in the direction you want them to go. Oh, what is happening here? Hang on here. Uh, but yeah, so that's the first thing I would say. The other thing I would say is I'm not sure where lighting is coming from. There's something happening here that's creating this kind of warmer light, and I think that's okay as long as you can explain it somehow or give us a hint as to what's happening, right? Um, all the plants down here look pretty cool. They do look a little random as to like where coral is and where it isn't. And then I would say your bubbles, there's a light here that you're using to highlight this area. And that light looks like it's affecting the bubbles when I guess I expect the bubbles to be lit from another direction, like coming from the brightest source, which should be here or here, with whatever light source is happening over here. So these feel really strange and disconnected from the entire image. And if you can just change that highlight so that it's this way instead of this way, that'll go a long way. Um, Bubble wise, it's also really dense. It's heavy. I think when bubbles happen underwater, they tend to be, unless there's some type of an explosion or whatever, they tend to be pretty sparse, but they're heading in a direction, you know? And they get wider as they go up. Right? So like there's a ton here, and even here it's like really dense. So your eyes kind of get confused onto what is happening. Bubbles are pretty uniform in size. Yeah, I'm not too picky with like how uniform they are, but you have to remember that a bubble isn't usually round, right? They're gonna be like fighting to go up, so they have this kind of like this kind of shape, and they just kind of like wobble around and kind of they just keep doing this weird wobbly effect as they work their way upwards. When they first come out, though, they tend to be little dots. Overall, I'm not sure what the scene is yet or what the focal point is. I just know that we're underwater. I'm not sure what this line is or this line. They don't feel very natural, if that makes sense. So like you've got natural rock formations here, but then you have these like these really straight lines that kind of just break the. Maybe if they were pillars, that would be pretty interesting. That would help explain why this is down here, right? Maybe it's some underwater city. Let me see what we got here. Can I open this? What is this? Open image in new tab. Yes, please. Oh my god, it's so low res. Got it. Nailed it. Can you tell I want to get better at concept art? Dude, half the time I need to like understand these filters better. These but like if you can get that type of information in there, you know, that's going to help a lot cuz then you start to understand a little bit more about what's happening. Oh my god, help me. Someone help me. Um yeah, cuz then you'll know a little bit more. Right now I don't know what the story is. I don't know like what the space is. Are we in like a little cave area? The direction of the fish, because whenever you have water, it's all about flow, right? If you can flow, if you can get some directionality, like all the water's here. We want you looking up there. Maybe we have the flow do this, so the fish follow this direction. Maybe the fish are here and they're getting hit by this light going this way. So then you get the cool little highlights on the fish, and then they're coming in front here. They get the little highlights from whatever's happening here. Yeah, cool example. Let's see. That one's that one. That image is equally confusing to me. I'll just pull it over just because, like, I don't know. There's a lot of photo bashing, I feel like, here, and I don't know the direction that's happening. There is a subject, though, which is this character, and they're going up here. I think the subject here is like the space, right? And I think if you can have the currents and the bubbles and everything kind of follow this direction, like even like where the bubbles are starting, they're going up like this, right? Have them have them move with the direction of the current slowly, even if it's subtle. It's like all the bubbles need to be going that way. I really like these like smaller details here. It's like, see these bubbles here? Those should be doing this direction. And you just get that flow happening and bam, you're going to get a much stronger image, I think. Getting some sort of directionality on the bubbles is going to help though. Bam, dude man, what's up? Bammo, whammo bammo. Was it Aichi? Was Aichi, right? Thanks for the opportunity for critique. I've been working on this for quite some time. I think it's almost done. I hope. Um, I hope you've been sharing it more. I haven't been looking at critiques too often, so I, or when I do, it's flowing, so it's really difficult to keep track of everyone's work on the server. But let's take a look here. I'm just copying these over. These are really high res, aren't they? Yes, they are. And this one. Meloria, dude, man, freaking Halo fiends. Meloria got outed. I gotta go. I can't play Halo anymore. I gotta work on my weapons. Shawty. All right. Let's see here. Oh man, he knows. How'd he know? He's gonna know. So let's dissect this a bit. So the scene is pretty interesting. It's quite a big scene. There are some things that stick out to me like immediately, which are like this line here. Mainly the cleanliness of it, and then also the alignment. Like this angle here, it feels like the roof is coming further out this way than this way. Like things are misaligned a little bit when it comes to that area. So I would take a look at that and pay attention to in like your references how these connect in this given area. Next thing I would do is explain. I don't know how to read this right now, so I think it needs a better explanation as to like what the surface is that we're looking at. Are they dual shutters? Is this like a material, or is it wood pattern on like rice paper or cloth, or like what, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is. These patterns are pretty interesting. Usually that's a pattern. So usually I would expect like if these are the start and end point for the length of this wall, that pattern's going to be right in the center, right? So you'd expect this shape to be here and then file out from there. And same here. Like you see how this one's offset as well. So it's about like measuring out where those are at. Oh, those are painted. Interesting. Dual shutters. Yeah, wood with rice paper. Yeah, so building in, again, it's kind of like what I was saying in the other critique, is like building in these rules for how patterns are placed. Because the moment something is off, everyone's like, what? You know, they get caught on it. Like when I see this, my brain gets stuck here. I see this spot, I see this spot, and I'm like, what is this? What's happened? You know, I don't understand. The brain disconnects. You have to create the illusion to trick the mind so that no one knows that we're in the Matrix. This area here, making sure that you've got the connection here and like any of the aging or damaging here. There's a color for this. Find out what the Kelvin value is of this, the Kelvin temperature of this type of light source. That'll help also connect those dots to the mind. These are all pointing in different directions. Is it windy? If it's windy, then you're like, right? Then we're going to need some animated stuff going on here. Scale wise, things look all right. I'm not, like, some of these leaves look a little strange in the material. There's a strange tilt here. This feels really like pushed in there. I think with these straight lines that we're seeing, you could benefit from just having it on the street more, or just having it like parked, you know, and ready to chill. It's just hanging out. These are a great addition because they're allowing you to break up this edge, and it's not just a straight line. Scale wise, these look really big, right? Are they usually large at the bottom and then small at the top? That's interesting. I'm kind of curious now where the reference is. Like, is this all coming from the mind, or are you pulling this from reference? But yeah, there's quite a bit of simplified shapes. Like you're getting these like really straight lines, and you want to watch out for these. There's this line too, which color-wise these two look very different from each other, right? And matching that is going to be important. I actually really like this line. I recognize that line from like when I was working on the prog map in Forza. This is from the Philippines, a city called Virgin City. Really? Like you said, Philippines. Now I'm all looking for the flag. Don't they usually have a flag out? Or is that weird? I'm not sure. See, I'm noticing it here as well. Is this common? Like the seal, like the rooftop is further out here than it is heavily referenced. But when I look at these details, it's these straight lines, the way edges are really sharp. Get those bevels in there. It looks like there's some info in there. Don't be afraid to bevel that and like add like a normal decal along the edge. This is really straight. Is there like, do they have little gutters or anything like that where like rain can drain into? Thinking about the logic of the road, is it usually curved where this center part is higher and these sides are lower so that the water drains off the side? Not enough jeepneys. J. Crew knows. Needs more puddles. I mean, there's a lot of wetness going on, right? But it's really about where the water is going and like the logic of the road. Because if it's curved like this, then you can actually get a little bit darker on the sides of the road. Maybe like where it's traveled more, the road tends to be a little bit lighter. And even when wet, you start to see like where the tracks, where vehicles are always going, and where the water goes. Where's the drains? Where's it? Where's all that info at? Dude, there's all these details too. Like this is a huge scene, and I've been seeing this a lot in artists. I mean, I see it very commonly, and it's when you're like, okay, I'm gonna make this awesome like scene. It's huge, right? You look at this and you're like, okay, this is gonna take a long time. This is gonna take a while to build, and like I'm giving you all this feedback, and now you have to go through and you have to scaling this down, like taking this stuff here. This looks super interesting to me. Make a room for one of these buildings if you want it to be like tied in. Make a room where people make the pottery, and then the room is they literally put it in this room to cool and like to just dry. Oh yeah, that's pretty borked. But you see, and we're getting a repetitive pattern here as well, because you're trying to fill a really large space. I would say focus here, work on that, and don't worry about this. Frame it, like cut the frame here, and focus on this building. Get that looking pretty awesome, and call it done, because it would look pretty cool. I'm confident in that. Holy cow. You're missing a lot of wires. Yeah, and see there's little, okay, let's copy this. Man, that's cool. So, of course, this is like detailed to the max. But there's a ton of wiring going on here. This contrast with the white and the kind of darkening in here. See that little gutter thing there? These look dipped down as well. So like all the rain's going to go into here and then just go into there. Yeah, and wires are going to do amazing things for you. You could do deferred decals to get these cracks along the building if you want to like set that up. And that's going to be good for areas like here if you wanted a crack to go up this. Oh, see? Look at these. There's little openings here. That's quite interesting. And you can see how there's this little top detail up here. I can't tell if some of them go in or not, but like, holy cow. Dude, that's paper. Or like whoa, that's crazy. No wonder the details aren't aligned. So you've got these, which could be a really interesting detail for you. and then the peeling off, and you've got this kind of mapped here and these little pieces of paper, just kind of putting it all. Man, that's crazy. I don't even look at this. There's a wire coming through the. That's crazy, man. This place is pretty old. Yeah, that peeling would be really cool. Forever. um, and the other thing is to note these types of things, these signs. See, there's another one here. There's a sign there. There's this. This is telling you what street you're on. They're on the corners of the buildings. Those details help a lot. Do you have any of that type of? So we call that as signage, right? So signage is, hey, Azurix, hey, thank you for the sub. Signage is huge because you can put that here. That helps break stuff up. It lets you know what street you're on. Getting these to feel like different buildings just by changing their depth. Like some are going to be further forward than others. Like you can see this building right here. This one comes out further. I think there might even be a street between there, or like maybe a little alley. I don't know. But yeah, you can see the road here as well is higher, and then it like dips down and it becomes lower. Good times. Don't forget, guys. Don't forget. Okay. Hopefully that was a lot to go off of. Let's see what else we got going on in here. It's 9:39. Okay, I'm gonna closed from here. Okay. Now I'm going back up and just close it. Make sure we have time. Light coming through the alley. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, in the image, it's definitely like there's more to the lighting. Like it's kind of like looks like a dawn or a dusk. Here's an environment. Bray, what's up, dude? Yo, it says Amazon next to your name, Bray. Are you like it says you're looking for work as well. So are you like Amazon game dev or Amazon working for Amazon, but cuz I need to know if you should be yellow or not. You're a material artist working at Amazon's imaging team. Oh, dude. Okay, hang on here. But I want to be an environment artist. This has been bugging me. I've been curious. You're now yellow. Okay, let's open up what's going on here. What? Where did it go? Okay, here's an environment I did in one weekend about a year ago, and I'm starting to pick it back up to actually complete it. All right. Any thoughts on direction would be cool, though I understand that there isn't much going on yet, so crits might be hard to give some points. So a lot of it's storytelling, right? Um, my honest, genuine feedback is I wouldn't pick it up again. I would make your next scene. Going back and revisiting something can kind of be its own different type of beast. And I think you should just take this and be like, cool, and then make your next scene. Maybe you could do a focus, like just take this. It doesn't feel like revisiting since I spent so little time on it. So you could consider this like a detailed block out. You're saying that this is a block out in that sense then. But you understand what I'm saying. Okay. I mean, I look at this concept and it's really cool, but there's no storytelling in it. So it's really about like, okay, what's happening here? Understanding it's an engine room, right? It's powering whatever it's powering. Exogenesis. I mean, when it comes down to it, it'd be super tedious to pick up. So I would take this thing here, this single generator, because you've got, it looks like you've got kind of everything in place. I would just focus on this. I would make this thing look as good as you want it to look, and then you can use it 3 times. And if you still want to build the scene then you just continue forward making everything else, because now you've got everything's blocked out, everything's there, you've got the layout of the space, and it's then at that point about executing on the content. And I think if you were to just build this one and start there, you might get enough momentum off of that to build the entire scene. And if not, now you have this really sick like hero prop as well. Because like I expect like all the little lights, the LEDs, and the cables and wires and stuff, all this hard surface work. There's so much to learn off of this. Just creating that. And if you want to learn even more after that, you can just make learn to make a spline in Unreal using getting this look. Still got a craving? Okay. Material pass, right? Start doing like logic on like where the paint, these like caution lines are, and how everything's kind of propped together. Because I think right now what I'm seeing in here is it's quite empty, right? It's pretty empty. And in the concept, it's pretty empty, but there's enough details there where you could model all these details and then like double the propping with the details that you'd already made. You posted another image in chat. Where is it? Oh, is it the Discord? Holy scale, Batman. Yeah, man. Dude, I would take I love that this one's off. Taking this to like final and then just kind of focusing all the lighting coming from this, and like don't have to worry about illuminating the sides here, and just like sit here and look at this shape. Let me see if I can so if we look at this, right? This is like you build this out here. This is your focus, right? And then everything around it should tell you to look at it. So this would be darker. This is good for framing. This is good for framing. This is already pretty dark. You don't need to see up here in the corner. It's all like in that center area. I would start there. I hope that helps, Bray. Salvador. Oh, it's visual. No, thanks for posting your stuff. Sorry, flashbang. This looks cool. Is that the sun? What's happening out there? So there's is that a little letter with the little wax stamp on there? That's cool. Yeah, sun's a little it's a little awkward, the light there. Yeah, so okay, let's see what's hello Empire. Scene I've been working on for a month or so. This is a month's worth of work. Nice. Would appreciate some general thoughts and critiques. I still need to polish and retexture some things. Cool. Let's dive in here. So for me, it's all like silhouettes and materials. Essentially, you know everything, where it's going to be, the details where you want them. I like the polygon's right. The lighting is charming. It's got a feeling to it. I would watch out for all the straight lines here, right? So you've got this line, you've got these. Everything's pretty uniform in thickness. When it comes to these details I'm highlighting. While the frame of the door is quite thin. I love this attention to detail on the top of the door. And I do like the detail you have of the gradient going down this way. I would try and localize it a bit more to like something maybe more like this. Maybe something like that in where the information is. Things are very simplified though when it starts getting around the frame. You can see like this looks like there's just a texture that you've UV'd to it. So really trying to like break up these edges so that they have maybe some dings or nicks in them, or like they're just kind of a little softer. The open door to catch the light is great. Yeah, this, yeah. I think it's pretty cool. Maybe some dirtiness on the window from the bottom edge here. Just kind of, you know, doing a little bit of this. And just kind of cleaning up as it goes to the top. Those bottles kind of disappear. You're talking about these ones. Yeah, they do. I think if you were to take the roughness of them and diffuse it just a little bit more, it'll pop. Those will stick out a little bit more. I can see this shelf is attached to the supports of the wall. I don't know if that's how it would actually be done, right? So definitely looking at some reference of like older buildings and understanding the interiors is going to be key. There's some cardboard boxes, so I'm not sure when this time period is. Like how old is this? Do you know what I mean? Because I thought this was much older, and then I saw the cardboard boxes, and that kind of threw me off. Especially with the wax letter stuff. There's interesting details around. Again, it's very like boxy. You know? I think if there is, with the type of shapes you're seeing here, there's an old lamp in the top right. Yeah, this one. When did cardboard happen? I'm like, when did cardboard happen? But like taking these really square shapes and just like, you know, pulling them out. Like maybe this goes down like this, but then like curves into a foot or something and then comes back up like that. You know, just something to do with the shapes to kind of break them up, because it's very square, it's very boxy. That's a nice foot. So, we're just you know, it's the same with like this chair. You see how these go in. That's fine. This one should do it too. Right? That should happen on all the legs. Like this pattern, I guess I would expect it here. Oh yeah, feedback sesh. Let's go. We've already closed it because there's so many of you that posted today. But just keep an eye out for these type of lines and trying to figure out how to like make them not as like, you're doing some nice stuff here with this edge. And anything you can do to kind of break that up. This is really dark. I don't know. It might, and it's really thick here. It might be worth like halving that thickness, and then maybe it's not a mirror. Maybe it's a photo. I don't know. The first corrugated cardboard box manufactured in U.S. was 1895. Wow. Wow. Dude, that's crazy. The other thing is, kind of feels like there should be some dust in here, you know? Like if you could build into your shaders like a directional dust pass, that could be, because then you could get some really, really nice like parity between all of the surfaces. Like where everything's kind of like communicating the same language. It'll tie everything together, right? Mad Max, that's crazy. Yeah, who knew? Yeah, you'd remove this. I mean, I'm saying add more edges to it, half the depth of this, and then just make this a photo. I'm like, photo. Um, yeah. Corner grime. Yeah, get the dirty deets in here. All types of little details down here. Like even just like make a texture sheet like you've got like this, right? You got a little texture sheet going on here, and make like a tileable like stuff that just builds up against the wall, like little pieces of paper, dust, little scrappy bits and stuff like that. Little yeah, little folded pieces of paper that go up against the wall. And then in the next one, maybe you can do some like maybe some bigger pieces. I don't know. This is probably a little extreme, but you could then on the next one, let's see here. Hair dust bunnies, yeah, yeah. And the next one, like from here down, you could split this up into like I don't know how you would split this up, but if you did it like this, you could do some dust decals, which are like this, right? Or like a shape like this. Just dust buildup. Maybe a shape like this one. And then you put those on cards and you can put those on the ground to just kind of move the dust around. So you can just feel that type of info. Oh man. And I've left room for like a bunch of different, maybe this one's like maybe you need an extra long one, right? This is also where you could put grime for like getting some extra information on this area. You can see it's all about like where things are connecting and how things meet. Soot sprites, oh yeah. Meh. Whee. I'm gonna go there. And then this material, making this feel softer. Right now, this feels like wrapping paper. I'm gonna like jump into bed and pull wrapping paper over me, right? So the surface, the material of it, it's trying to get that soft kind of cloth feel to it. Small cobwebs could be good in a few spots, maybe up here. I mean, Ghost, if you're gonna do that, you should just put an Empire sticker here. If boxes exist, stickers gotta exist, or stamps of some sort. Anywho, I hope this was informative. There's a lot of straight lines, and it's really like you have some nice details that are happening here, and it's trying to get a few more in there. Everything's pretty uniformly colored. There's some darkening on the bottoms and areas like that, but think about maybe some damage to the paint if there's a paint layer. Think about just a little bit more information. And yeah, it's cool though. No, thank you. All right, is it Ian? 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 Uh, not a new post, but I haven't had much critique on it. Just friends cheering it on, or others hating for no reason. There's always haters, man. Don't worry. Oh, dude, you can use the Empire logo wherever you want, man. There's, it's free to use. Put it wherever. Let's look at this one. Flash. So this is great to have. Improve this. It's great to have that, but I can't really improve like this. Anything I can improve in my future pieces. I mean, for me, I guess it depends on the style you're going for, right? Everything's very soft. Very, very. New join. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. Welcome. Welcome. Man, I can't keep up with it now. We're 9,100 people. I just kind of ride the wave with you guys. It's just part of the experience, you know? Uh, that's why I'm here. Yeah, I vary the bevel amounts. Right now, the bevels are very large. very large, and they're all pretty uniformly the same, right? It really makes a detail like this stick out, where this isn't really beveled all that much. Some pretty cool parts, but if yes, it feels very soft. Hello, Zionic, how you doing? I like these cables and the texture pattern to it. But yeah, I feel like you'd want these bevels to be much like a bit tighter, or tighter in areas. Like this area right here feels pretty good, but like this is really soft. It's just varying it up. And getting this type of like what is it, carbon, like that carbon fiber weave is strange on some areas like this. And you have to always ask yourself, why are you putting the details where you're putting them? Like, is there a reason this is here? Right? And like with this one, I can kind of understand why everything looks so soft. And it kind of looks like it was shrink wrapped with that carbon fiber, or like fiber surfacing material. But yeah, these could be much, like if you want to go for that hard surface look, you just make these much tighter and you're in a good spot. I think that's my biggest feedback on this. Diamond, how you doing? Good to see you. This close, bevels are too much. If we were looking at it from far away, it wouldn't be as bad. That is true. Like when you look at it down here, this isn't too soft, right? I think a lot of the details that I'm expecting to see are in your roughness. I think the roughness is probably the weakest part outside of the bevels that we're pointing out. Because like if you take this detail here, let's copy this image and we bring it into Photoshop. When you scale it down, like that looks pretty good. And a lot of the times you're gonna see Stance, how you doing? Good to see you. When it's small like this, we usually in games we ask you to kind of exaggerate the bevels a bit, because like realistically bevels are quite small in real things, and when you make them that small, they just look strange in game. Like in real time, they just look like there's no bevel there at all. But I think you're also you're likely going just a little far from where, like right now I think the bevel starts here and ends here, and I would expect it to be more like that. Right? It's tighter, and then you don't get, because see the next one starts here. So like if we follow that rule, this is the only flat space you have. And that flattening space, that's where hard surface shines, you know? You get that sheen. Yeah, this pattern's kind of cool, huh? But like that bevels and this bevels, so you only get this small area to have that happen. Whereas if you shrink that down, oh no, I'm drawing on the image, oh god. If you shrink that down, now you've got much more room to actually see the highlights where you expect them to be. But yeah. Hey, thank you. Thanks for the follow. Okay. Charlie V. Dude, your user picture cracks me up, man. Let's open these up. This looks pretty cool. Dark Souls, hello. Yeah, we got one more to critique after this one, and then we are out of here. This shot is pretty cool. It kind of makes me wish it was symmetrical. Right? I want to beat the boss that lives here. So this looks pretty cool. The addition of the candles is a great call. I like the debris coming out of the little grate things here. I definitely feel like there needs to be some more debris around, like maybe an area where it's collapsed down. Like if this area is like, it can be a collapsed hole. Like this is open, right? But it just goes into darkness, and then you can have this beam coming down like that. Maybe it's snapped or whatever. There's another piece here, and then you have all of this info, like all that right here as well. So it's more about like trying to figure out how to like fill the space up with that type of detail. This specific angle I like the most. Isn't there supposed to be a chest here? I feel like there's supposed to be a chest here. But this shot actually, and this one, like more clusters, yeah. This shot, I really like this one. Really interesting angle. This one, however, this one's the bee's knees. Literally. Bees with knees. This is them. Like you look at this shot and you're like, yo, okay. You kind of want to like, can I do like, can you do this? I kind of want like a really wide. I don't know. I do like the ceiling stuff going on. And you don't want to clip this out. I think more candles. Oh, more candles and just sell that story. Let's just do this. More candles, man. Put some here. Put some like, have some that have melted away and they're just nothing. Yeah, so you got candles here. Put some around here. Yeah, the floor is pretty cool, and I would say it's not too much. This is really supporting your floors. I don't have too much to say on this. It looks like you just need to keep going. You're going to want some nice ground fog in there. And some more of this. Some like low ground fog that kind of like gradients upwards. Maybe a light shining through, right? Because the fog is kind of a bit thick. What's a good aspect ratio? I did a little digging in cinema. Does a 2-to-1? Does a 2-to-1 or a widescreen? Do you think artists should be adopting the size for featuring art? 2-to-1 or widescreen? Dude, I love widescreen. Like, I want this to be wider, and I'm trying to do it, but I can't because there's information you want to keep in the shot. So like, it literally just needs to be wider like this. I love this aspect ratio. Maybe some of the now more numerous candles has gone out and emits the nice guiding smoke. Oh my god, yeah. Muck, that's a great idea. But I honestly I have no feedback for it. I don't know where this light's coming from. That I would love to be explained to me a little bit more. Smoke would be great. I think just some thicker atmosphere would be pretty nice, and it doesn't have to be everywhere. It can just be on the ground, kind of gradienting up. It's magic. Definitely gonna try the aspect ratio. This looks cool, man. I'm looking forward to what you do here. There's no albedo in here right now, is there? Not yet. I leave your albedo to like the very, very end. because like so much is going on here. Just normals. Yeah, normals and roughness. You can do a lot with that. I mean, like, look at this. This area here feels so... I think you need to make some hero candles. Maybe like 5 different types. Looking cool, though. No, what I'm saying is you get that roughness difference between these. You get all that type of information there. Oh, man. And yeah, the columns feel pretty nice, too. Okay, last one. Last one. Let's go. Searching for a thumbnail for the CRT TV I did. I'd love to hear some ideas and critiques. Ooh, you even... See, this... I love this. You like impose them, like superimpose them in here to kind of figure out what look to give it. I am a big fan of this one, although the surface information here is really distracting. This one doesn't have nearly the contrast that this one does, and I think that's the reason I like this one. Yeah, you do this, and then just like, you know, just take a screenshot of this, and then mask out those spots and just drag your images around and just see what like reads nicely against everything else. But yeah, I like this top left one, and I think just dragging the attention away from this surface, maybe like changing the roughness a bit more, or like toning down how intense the normal is, and you'd be in a pretty good spot. Maybe you move it a little bit more to the right so that the CRT screen material is like coming a little bit more into the shot. But I like this kind of corner where this edge is kind of cutting into the... Like, you see what happens if you copy this, and then we go here and we paste. You go in and you select that. You press... where are we at here? No. There we go. So if we bring this up here, you can see, I mean, it's not perfect, but you can see what's happening here. Is this line is kind of close to this one, and then you've got this angle cut going on here. And then this line here is really like spot on. So you're almost like if you were to divide it up attempted evenly, right? Everything is kind of like, look here, look at this, and then this line, and this one, you know? I really like this one. I think just toning down the information on the side here will do a lot. The background is a little strange. The purple might not be that big of a deal, though. Just do this and then... Like, look at that. Even just like, you want to be lazy about it, just paint over it. I'm like trying to... Come on. You can do that. It's just, you don't want it to be too distracting, right? And I think if I... No, I can't do it. I don't have any information to work with. Gonna bounce? All right, Ollie. Have a good one, man. But, oh, you said the top right had no editing either. Top right one's pretty strong. I still really like this one. The antennas are a little wonky, yes. I would argue you don't even need them there. Or like tilt them forward so that you just see them more. But I like this one. Okay. I'm going to call it. I'm calling it there. It was a pleasure, guys. Should we raid someone? Yeah, thanks everyone for sharing your work. And, oh, War Dog streaming. You guys want hard surface texturing. Let's hope that's what they're doing. Nice, Casey. We're gonna raid War Dogs. Is it War Dog stream? I always get this wrong. Always get it wrong. Hey, have a good one, David. I'll just look. I'm looking it up now. War Dog Twitch. There it is. War Dog Twitch. Let's go. War Dog, War Dog, War Dog. Yes. No. I did it wrong. Is that? There we go. All right, guys. Have a good evening, and I will see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. All right. Bye.